Hello everyone and welcome back to the Wicked Weekly. My name is Brian if you happen to be new around here, and in today we're diving into just the slightest bit of news, but more so some of the comments and questions that you guys have been so kind enough to leave me that I feel like it really kind of makes sense to address them in a video, so that way we're all on the same page. And so that's what we're going to do in this video. So if you're looking for the latest and breaking news, thanks for checking out the video, but this isn't going to be mind-blowing in terms of brand new information. We will start with the brand new information before we dive into the video, but if you're looking for something else, I hope you come back and check out the channel in the future. I'm trying never to waste y'all's time, but that all preamble aside, let's dive in. Let's start with the news. Thomas writes, folks, you'll still have to have a bit of patience. We're testing co-op every day, but multiplayer is a bitch, and we don't want another release with users being upset. So chill, let us know what you'd like to see in Wicked to improve on the game. It's all coming. It just needs a bit of us to tune it all. And I think this is why I want to open up with this, because I do continue to feel like multiplayer is probably about 4, maybe 6 weeks away. It's possible it shifts into October. Here we are at the end of August. But this is the next thing that's coming. I think it's going to be hyped up. I think we're going to see marketing behind it. Unfortunately, with all of us, I share in, this same level of frustration isn't the right word, just eagerness to see the multiplayer come to fruition. I'm very much looking forward to that. I know it's not everybody's thing, but I think it's going to be important for the life and health of the game. That is what's next, and he is right. Unfortunately, he is right. And even though this is an early access, gamers can get frustrated, and if you're getting desyncs, if you're disconnecting from the game, not going to end up working in their favor. So it's important that they still put out the best foot forward. I think if you categorize early access games in two ways, you have early access, and then you have polished early access. I think No Rest for the Wicked definitely falls in that polished early access, but now most of us are waiting for more content, waiting for multiplayer. We're kind of in that waiting phase, which tends to mean a lot less interest. And that's honestly where, as a player myself, as somebody who plays this game and tries to get as much time with this game in every week, it's always good to kind of check out other games. One of the things I've been covering is Final Fantasy 11. I just played some Blue Protocol, have a video up on Ginger Loves MMOs if you guys are interested in that later. We also got some drama stuff that we're going to talk about, and it's just like, oh gosh, why? But that's all over on Ginger Loves MMO. So if you're curious, you can check that out. It's also a great way of supporting the content here, is that it all goes into one pot, and we pay Jack, who my editor, who just got engaged. So if nothing else, wish him a happy engagement. He basically we don't make money on this. This all goes to him. So thank you guys so much for your support. And if you're looking for free ways, that's one way to go about doing that. Now, I want to dive I want to dive now into some of y'all's comments and questions, because I think this is an important aspect as we continue to just talk about the game, keep it front of mind. And I think it's important, especially keeping us all on the same page. I'm butchering the name, apologies. I've got over 500 hours in the game. I'm seriously in love with it, but I'm starting to worry that they're putting too many eggs in one basket. They're not making the game that's going to fit into a casual market, and that's a niche experience. Souls games themselves were niche until Elden Ring and Sekiro. It just feels like they're losing focus on what, as well as the direction of the game. 40 plus classes? Why? Why not something like 10 or 15? And I think it's important because they're obviously taking a risk with that. Like when you're talking about adding in all this variability, that takes a lot of balance. It takes a lot of work. But I honestly think that if they actually succeed, it's going to be beneficial for it, and to the point where when you see these games take these risks and actually deliver on those, you look at Baldur's Gate 3, for example, it kind of shifts the narratives. It kind of sets a new tone. It kind of becomes the new line in the sand that other people will judge it from. Are they putting in too many eggs in one basket? Well, perhaps. And when we hear him talk about some of the features that he's interested in bringing in, the thing I like about this is that Thomas is actually having a real gaming conversation with all of us, because the real thing within development is never tell anybody anything until you're ready to really present what it is, because gamers will take everything you say as a promise. You said this 3 years ago. Where is it? And it's like, yeah, sometimes those things take time. Sometimes the ideas themselves end up not being fun and end up getting cut out. But that's going to be them for them to kind of manage and balance that aspect. I think what they have is an absolutely amazing game. I think what they've delivered already is worthy of my money and my time. That all being said, is that we do know that more is coming, and I think it's going to be a process. And that's where I do worry sometimes that the over communication that we get, and some people might feel like, hey, they don't communicate enough. Yeah, I think they're always going to try to balance that official coverage versus the fact that they talk to us in Discord. For me, as a developer myself, as a gamer myself, I appreciate that, but I'm also have that burden of understanding a lot of what's going on behind the scenes. And so at least, if nothing else, being busy in normal life with the family and the kids and everything like that also kind of help, because I'm not able to hyper focus in on this 100% of my time, which I think ends up making it a better life balance. So all in all, only time will tell if they're able to take what we have, expand on it, make it even better, and give us more of it. I think that's all that they really need to do. And then from there, especially between expansions, they can add in some of these things that they've been talking about, and those can end up being kind of these free milestone updates that happen after the game releases, which would also be a re-invitation for people to come back and maybe check out the new mode or check out whatever feature that they're adding in. So yeah, time will tell, but your fear isn't unfounded. I get it, and we've seen a lot of games overcommit, overpromise, and underdeliver. I think it's better to underpromise and overdeliver, personally speaking, and I honestly would think that they've done that. Now, Gorilla Black 4F says, I hope I don't have to start all over again like the other update. I had to start all over again, and I got a lot of the rings, and I wonder, and I want the gear, and I spent a lot of hours gathering all my stuff, and I want it. I love this game, and I've almost got 200 hours in it. And so just to kind of reiterate for everybody out there, especially those of you guys in the back casually paying attention to the game itself, with 1.0, when the game officially releases, yes, there will be another wipe. I can't stop playing this, and I know that there's going to be a wipe, which I think speaks a lot, because generally speaking, I don't like to invest my time in characters that will no longer exist. That's why the seasonal model behind the ARPG, where you create a seasonal character, it never really vibed with me personally, because I don't have endless amounts of time. Maybe if I did, the story would be different, but I still like it. But everybody should know we need to scream it from the backtops, because anybody who's investing their time in now is getting that time. They're having fun, but we're all going to start from the same starting point as soon as the game officially launches. Now, J. Brandon Mercer writes, I'm wondering why an early access game needs a PTR. I'm not trying to be smug. It just seems like an odd redundancy. And this is a really good point. I think this is like, it really sings true, because you're like, wait, I thought early access were all on the PTR. The reality is that marketing is a thing, and game journalists need something to write about, and the general public isn't as invested in it. So being able to separate, and it's weird they call it a PTR, it just means test realm. So I would say private test realm, but usually it means public test realm. The ability for them to really kind of test and refine and bring in other people is good, and that's why they have it. It's really a testing aspect, because they know when multiplayer launches, new articles, a new checkpoint, a new opportunity for people to come in and review the game, buy the game, etc. So them putting in that effort and bringing in other people to help them with that effort is really why they're doing it. Yes, this is early access. We're all technically on these test realms to help improve the game, but it's still also the business model, and the business model of gaming journos is what it is. And so you kind of have to play it. It feels like this is playing a little bit more defense, so that when they do show that next update, that next milestone, it hits on all fronts and everybody has a great experience. And it's not something that you end up seeing a lot of, like, oh, I can't connect to the servers and things like that. There might be some of that as with any kind of rush, but time will ultimately tell. All right, our final comment today comes from Prince of Genova. It says, Brian, a few things. Firstly, I put 15 hours into No Rest for the Wicked, and my God, this game is incredible and only looking to get better. I'm also happy to report that through my first 15 hours, the game is definitely playable on Steam Deck. There are some minor frame rate dips in here and there, and the resolution isn't always crystal clear, but it has not had a major impact on my enjoyment of the game at all. From what I gather, Moon Studios is still conducting to work on optimization for the Steam Deck during early access, at least I hope. jump in. Yes, they're committed to optimization. Development wise, being that they are putting out updates, optimization is always going to be an ongoing thing. So they're going to optimize, make some things better. Some things might get worse. They'll go in and tweak that. It's always a game of cat and mouse, and it's going to be something just like with job balances, class balances. It's always going to be something that you want to see them constantly kind of looking at and making adjustments. That does mean sometimes things get nerfed. We don't like that. But in terms of performance, that the hyperfixation and investment on this is, I think, what we want to see. And that's going to be, they're going to keep doing it. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to hit it out of the park, meaning it's always going to be that level of refinement, getting an understanding as they continue to add in. If the game was set in stone and it didn't have anything they were adding, then it would just be improved, and then eventually to the point where like it runs great. But that does take time, and they are continuing to invest in it. Anyway, that's a long aside. It continues. Finally, I have to tell you the message of hope at the part of your videos are awesome. Really appreciate you sharing your journey with weight loss. I'm 34 now. My dyslexia kicked in. And it's getting harder and harder every year. In fact, I can do the workouts, but I love food so much. As I'm sure you know, motivation and consistency are the hardest part. So I really appreciate you injecting your little support and motivation into my day with your story. Best No Rest for the Wicked channel on YouTube. I don't know about the best, guys. There's some really great creators out there, much bigger and even much smaller than me. Shout out to Wicked Builds. We put in a special command on the live stream. So if anybody comes in, wants to help shout the guy out, just type ! And then the letter WB, and that will give a link to his channel. So hopefully you guys do that. The message of hope, I think, is really kind of the biggest thing. It's like, I know when I look at a lot of online discourse, especially as of late, the world doesn't care about men, and they might pretend like they do. And honestly, just the knowledge that they don't is actually kind of freeing. And so that's just something I always want to just try to encourage people, right? No one's coming to save you. Only you can save yourself in terms of this. So if you're miserable, you can get out of it. And you're not alone. Like, we've all suffered. We've all been in these kind of pitfalls and frustrations and setbacks and sufferings. This isn't something that's unique to you, but the only thing is that the lies that your brain is telling you that you're worthless and things like that are just that. They're just lies. And sometimes it helps, especially like if you look at iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another from the scriptures. Like, this is so true. And even if you aren't somebody who's religious or somebody who believes that there's something bigger out there, you know, in the world in terms of like God or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, it still means that wisdom is true, right? And just the fact is, like, sometimes hearing about somebody else's journey, sometimes sharing your own journey, especially I think within kind of men's circles, is great. The internet's not going to accept it. It's not going to like it. It's going to reject you. And if you understand that that's the reaction, that nobody cares, that no one's going to come save you, it hopefully helps get you motivated to figure out, like, okay, well, if no one's coming to save me, what do I need to do? And the thing is that your journey could start today. It could have started years ago. And the point is that it is a journey. It isn't going to be something that we all, you know, hit every single day. I have my own setbacks. You have your own setbacks. The point is that you and we can always get back up on that horse. And you got to just tell yourself, get back on the dadgum horse. And let's keep pushing forward, keep on struggling together. And so I think this reach, this community, this audience that YouTube has, you know, gifted me with through my passion for video games is a good reminder, because I do see it, especially within men, we can use video games to cope to a degree where we're not actually addressing kind of the root issue. And then when the video game dopamine falls off, you see kind of all of a sudden it's like you get slapped really freaking hard. And I think that's essentially where I like to try and use a little bit of my time and y'all's time and kind of talk about it every day, or as much as possible, so that people don't quit on themselves. Because I think if you don't quit, like, you're winning, you know, in that regards. But anyway, thanks guys. Thanks for the comments. Hopefully you got something good out of this video. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. If there's, you know, breaking news, we'll cover it. I might try to bring in, you know, kind of a more discussion style to all of my videos. So if you guys are here at this point and you want to see more of my content, that notification button or checking out my other channels, that's a great free way of supporting what I do. And outside of that, thank you guys so much for your time. Hopefully you got something good, like I said. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But until then, take care.
Lord, ain't no saving, no safe ground. Just crack those spurs and battlegrounds. Lord,